What's up, guys? Mr. Dan here. Welcome back to the channel uh, for this Halloween countdown month. Oh, what happened there? Anyway, I'm down here. This week we're going to take a look at... I can't do that. There we go. This week we're going to take a look at Hammer's, the quintessential Hammer film from 1959. One of the films that really jump-started the sort of modern era for Hammer. At least it was modern back then. Color films that featured a little more blood and beautiful ladies and great storylines. The Mummy from 1959. Now, some of you may remember I've actually reviewed one of the sequels, The Curse of the Mummy's Tomb, because I got to see this on a double bill with the Gorgon on the big screen about a year ago. So I was pretty jazzed up after I saw that on the big screen. So I have reviewed one of the sequels. This is my favorite one, however. I mean, you got Michael Carreras producing, Jimmy Sangster writing, and Terence Fisher directing. I mean, as far as Hammer, that's, you don't need any more than that to have a great film. But as far as acting goes, you have Peter Cushing as an Egyptologist, Christopher Lee as the Mummy, and you even have the great Michael Ripper. Please check out my review of his biography. There he is, a scene from the film. He plays a drunken poacher who sees the mummy at night and is terrified. So it's one of his roles that has a little bit of comedy to it. And he said, "Poor old Christopher. He had such a bad time on the film. All that heavy makeup, playing the mummy. It must have been sheer hell for him. Christopher is one of my dearest friends. He always makes me laugh. In fact, I don't think he ever liked working with me because we laughed so much." Yeah, this is the first time that Ripper, Lee, and Cushing would be in a film together. And yeah, Christopher Lee got in trouble for laughing too much, sometimes at the wrong times, which is kind of crazy because he's such an imposing mummy in this film. So I'm not going to get into the plot. Christopher Lee, back in ancient Egypt, has his tongue removed, and he's mummified so that he can watch over a princess that he sort of has a crush on, if you will. Flash forward, Peter Cushing and his family of Egyptologists disturb the tomb, take some things back to Great Britain, despite some warnings from a local Egyptian, played by George Pastelli, who was actually from Cyprus, but played a few different Egyptian characters in the Mummy movies for Hammer. Also a French policeman in The Maniac, very good character actor. Despite his warnings, they do what they did. They take some things out of the tomb. The mummy is awakened. The George Pastelli character, I think his name is Ahmed Bey, brings the mummy to Great Britain so that he can get his revenge. During a carriage ride, it falls off of the carriage into the swamp, the whole casket with the mummy. So he comes out and he's covered with swamp water. And it really just adds to the whole effect, the horrifying effect of the mummy. Fantastic makeup effects. And Christopher Lee as the mummy, I mean, he's just the best. His mouth is sealed. He's essentially acting with his eyes and with his physicality. And I would say there's nobody that can ever top this performance. What he's able to convey with just his eyes is amazing. He's essentially an unstoppable killing machine. And if you think some of the Universal mummies moved a little too slowly, this is your movie. I mean, he just comes right through doors, right through windows. He actually dislocated his shoulder coming through a big bay window in one of the scenes. And I watched this with my son years ago, and there was a couple times where he just looked at me like, "Whoa, this is pretty cool." And yeah, it's really good. And Peter Cushing is no slouch in the action department too. He sort of suggested some things they can do with the choreography, rolling over a desk and grabbing a weapon off of the wall. I love the settings of all these old Hammer movies. They always had these dens with fireplaces and things on the walls and bookshelves and everything. That's a cool scene. And there's also a policeman played by Eddie Byrne who's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. There's a great scene where Peter Cushing goes to visit this the Egyptian guy, and they have like a little back and forth. They both, they're both kind of keeping everything under the vest, but they know exactly, what the other guy's trying to do, and he's just trying to feel him out. Really good scene. Great climax. It doesn't help our heroes that that Peter Cushing's fiance, played by the lovely Yvonne Furneaux, who just passed away this year, unfortunately, that she kind of looks like the mummy's old love back in ancient Egypt. So that kind of plays into the climax. And I'm not going to say what happens, but there's actually a bone-crunching climax. And it's another one of those scenes where my son looked at me like, whoa, didn't expect to see that in a film from 1959. But yeah, it's really good. And then the final conclusion, to be honest, is almost a little anticlimactic, the last 10 minutes, but you're so amped up from everything that's happened that it's okay. It's fine. Just a great film all around. Tons of fun. Like I said, this is like the quintessential Hammer film. If you haven't seen this, go ahead and check it out. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. And we will catch you next time.